It's a pretty funny joke for way back when. Same kid who got hit in the head with a softball. I think he did this bit before he got hit in the head with a softball, but it reminds me of what I was just doing earlier, and I can't even remember. I've forgotten that twice now. Can you imagine? Imagine paying so little attention to your utterances that you've now blanked on what set you up for that twice in a minute and a half.
It was the Chris Jericho message which led to this story.
Oh,
the email about the walls of Jericho.
Thank you, 14 times. Appreciate it. It's all that rave off.
You just turned into Carvey's impression of you.
Yeah, that's all Carvey did with me. He'd state a postulate and then go, Morse Miller, he would call it. I'd say, what does that afford you in the way of time saving a week? And he's like, around 10 minutes, I'd have to write a couple lines, and I don't have time for it. I'm in 15 things this week. Fuck that. So all I'm going to do is go, bap, 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 bap. I said, all right. Got to call Carvey today. God, he makes me laugh. Is anybody see Mollie Hemingway, like Omar Sharif approaching the well?
Mollie will be here in a minute, but we have a minute. I think this is a great time to play a voicemail. Someone calling about you and Carvey. That's voicemail number 2, RJ and Raleigh.
Now, let me ask you this. You know I use a hand mic.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sitting back in my chair in full recline. I've got my feet up on my desk.
Sure.
I've got the headphones on. Just when you were talking there, I decided I needed to put the mic down for a second and scratch my nose. I put it down under my right breast, and it held there. There's a little give. There's a little. Am I too fat? That I literally.
No, boss, you're good.
Huh?
Everything's good. Don't worry about it.
Is it bad when you begin to have pectorals that the French men pronounce the ideal size for a woman's breast? A champagne glass.
No, it's
literally. I've got a little overhang here. Look, I just pulled it up a little. I'm looking, and I see Tom Cruise from MI1, the original. Or was that MI2? Where he's repelling?
It's the first one.
Under, all right. Don't get Christian pissed off about a movie series. Huh?
Don't mess around with Brian De Palma movies, all right?
Christ almighty. Christian, you'll be talking, praising his kid. That's a beautiful picture. You'll say something wrong. Chris Pine, 6'1", fuckhead.
He's very handsome. Well, we can save that voicemail for another time because Mollie Hemingway is now with us.
Beautiful. Well, I'm a big fan. Mollie, how are you?
I'm great. It's wonderful to be here with you.
Christ, you're smart. I watch you every time I can. I always think, now here's somebody who knows where it's at.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
It's funny to me. I'm already reading articles, Mollie, that people are saying 37 days is now, it would be unprecedented to do it. I'm thinking, except I see a lot of ones that were done in the low 40s, and the man is given 6 days of deference. If he didn't do that, they'd be on him for that. He could have done it, made the announcement, but he didn't, out of deference to Justice Ginsburg. He really has no win on this, does he? So he might as well go ahead and do it.
Well, it does seem that no matter what he does, he would face criticism, but the facts are that there are many confirmations that happened in fewer than 45 days or so. Justice Ginsburg herself, I think, was confirmed in just over 40 days. Mm-hmm. And she was confirmed with, nearly unanimously, even though she was a far left activist when she was nominated. So it seems like there's one set of rules for Democratic nominees, an entirely different set of rules for Republicans sometimes.
What did I tell you? I don't even know if I'm disheartened. I think I'm being pragmatic. I think they're non-adherence to the rules. I remember the night Trump won, I looked at my wife, and honest to God, I remember saying, they've won by losing. And she said, you're always looking for layering. I said, I'm telling you, every previous precedent, every adherence to protocols, every unstated etiquette between statesmen is just flushed. They're going to do everything they can every day to get rid of this guy. And what would you say? This is the thing that scares me. I think they're going to do it. I think Trump might be the last mail station before the thing hits the iceberg. But I do think that their just refusal to play by the rules in any way is going to win them the day. Your thoughts?
I honestly don't know what's going to happen in the election. I also, one thing that worries me is that I'm not sure there's a complete, the relationship that you would hope there would be between who actually wins and who gets to be the president in the next 4 years. I worry that if you're willing to do everything that was done in the last 4 years, which, as you note, was all about just refusing to accept the election results, whether that's not showing up for the inauguration, whether that's running like a pretty obvious coup attempt to get rid of him through the Justice Department and other means. What's left to do? I mean, I worry that they can justify literally anything here for how to keep him from having a second term. I don't want to prejudge that, and I don't want to, I hope that everybody would behave responsibly, but they haven't given a lot of reason to think that they will uphold norms in the months to come.
Oh no, she's already said. Hillary, Boss Tweed pantsuit has already said that under no circumstances should Biden. I forget what it's called when you call and acknowledge your loss, but that's really frightening. that's like Junta 101, for God's sakes. As I look at him announcing this Friday, and I look at the Rust Belt up there. Obviously, there's some Catholic population up there. I think Amy Coney, I don't even know her name, is Barrett is going to be the one. And I guarantee you, right now, they're going through their Blasey Ford file and finding out who's the woman who's going to say, as a young woman, I got pregnant, and Amy counseled me that I should get it aborted. I could just see this coming. You wrote about the Kavanaugh situation in the great book, Justice on Trial, the Kavanaugh confirmation in the future of the Supreme Court, talking about Mollie Hemingway here. And I've never seen anything like that. That's something that would have made Torquemada blush. They're going to go after this woman to destroy her.
There is absolutely no doubt. And they've also said this. I mean, you had people just in recent days saying, everything is on the table for what we're willing to do. And you're thinking, well, wasn't everything on the table for the Kavanaugh confirmation? Like, how can you do more than what they did during the Kavanaugh confirmation? I think we don't know precisely what their approach will be, but even Kavanaugh wasn't the first person that they did these character smears with, whether it was Bork or Justice Thomas. So it'll definitely happen, whether it's Amy Coney Barrett or one of the other qualified female shortlisters there. But I don't quite know what they'll do. It seems unlikely that they will accuse her of serial gang rape, like they accused Brett Kavanaugh of being the secret leader of a gang rape cartel that was roaming the streets of suburban Maryland. I don't think they're going to do that, but they're going to do something.
Well, I'm telling you, I meant that shot. I think they're going to find some girl to come up and say, as a young woman, I got pregnant and Amy counseled me to have an abortion. That's her coin of the realm. I really believe that.
Here's where I don't think they would do that, because they would like her more if she had done that.
You're right. I buried the lead. You're right. That's why I like Mollie Hemingway. I was so busy in the meta terms, I missed the fibrous sinew of the whole premise. We're talking to Mollie Hemingway from Fox. You know her. Justice on Trial. The Kavanaugh confirmation in the future of the Supreme Court says she knows of what she speaks here. Whether you're an athlete, weekend warrior, or someone who deals with constant joint pain, back pain, muscle soreness, or arthritis, finding a natural remedy that instantly works might seem, non-existent. Most over-the-counter pain relievers such as Icy Hot and Bengay only focus on one basic cooling effect, such as menthol, which temporarily takes your mind off the pain until that pain returns, about an hour or so. If you're looking to get rid of nagging muscle and joint pain immediately while providing long-lasting recovery, then you need to try the natural breakthrough pain relief solution, Cryo-Freeze CBD, developed by Omax Health. This non-prescription triple action pain relief roll-on is specially formulated to block pain receptors, reduce inflammation, and improve muscle and joint flexibility. The treatment exposes the body to cold temperatures in order to numb and reduce pain or inflammation. Professional athletes such as PGA pro Cal Stanley use this type of cryotherapy on a regular basis. The best part is this 100% natural CBD powered remedy works its magic within 10 minutes of application, and relief lasts up to 8 hours, much longer than over the counter products. It's super easy to throw in your gym bag and take on the go for emergency pain relief. Simply roll it over where it hurts and ice out the pain with an Arctic blast. Omax Health is offering my listeners 20% off a full bottle of CryoFreeze Pain Relief Roll-On. This discount also applies towards any product site-wide. Just go to omaxhealth.com today and enter code Miller to take advantage of this incredible savings. That's omaxhealth.com and enter code Miller to get 20% off CryoFreeze and anything else site-wide. So if you're looking to relieve your muscle and joint pain within 15 minutes and need a natural yet powerful solution that is tested and works, try CryoFreeze Pain Relief Roll-On. This quick-absorbing, scientifically backed formula provides pain relief instantly. And if pro athletes use it, well, come on, it must work. It's their living. Remember, go to omaxhealth.com today and enter code Miller to take advantage of this incredible savings. That's omaxhealth.com. Enter code Miller to get 20% off CryoFreeze, anything else site-wide. And don't let muscle soreness continue to be an excuse for living an inactive lifestyle. Go to omaxhealth.com and feel relief faster. I'm trying to think. I look at McConnell and I'm wondering, why would he do even this vague caveat that he can't guarantee a vote before the election? Would you think they would look at internal polls and say, well, if it doesn't serve us, we won't do it before? Is that what's going on there?
I absolutely think that's what he wants to do. He wants to make sure that they can get to a vote before Election Day. But if for some reason they don't think it serves their political interests, they will hold it until after. And this is one issue where I think normally that would be such a huge risk and gamble to hold it until after the Election Day. Because what if President Trump loses?
Mm-hmm.
What if they lose the Senate? In this case, thanks to Hillary Clinton and others, we know we're going to be in this protracted, like month-long election season after Election Day. So nobody's going to even know who won various races. So it seems that the downside to holding the vote till after the Election Day is much less than it would be if they were voting as they should be, on one day and knowing the results that evening.
Tell me what you know about Florida Supreme Court Judge Barbara Lagoa. Am I mispronouncing that? Lagoa?
Barbara Lagoa was appointed to the Florida Supreme Court by Ron DeSantis, and he had speaks incredibly highly of her. She has more of a corporate litigator background, which Amy Coney Barrett is known for her judicial reasoning and writings. There's a reason why conservatives really like her. They know how she thinks, and they also have a few more years of experience of her on the federal bench, so they know how she would rule. But I've heard really good things about Barbara Lagoa as well. And to get on President Trump's list requires some pretty serious vetting. They don't want to put people on there that they wouldn't be comfortable with having on the Supreme Court. So everybody meets a pretty good standard. So now it's just kind of picking who you like better or not. There's not as much of a track record, although a lot of people note that she was on the legal team for the family of Elian Gonzalez when they tried to keep him in the United States. So shows some instincts toward things that a lot of conservatives like, but not quite as much of a track record as Amy Coney Barrett from her days at Notre Dame Law School and her judicial record.
I think Saturday at 5 o'clock, to be honest, I think you can say we know if this vote will take place before or after November 3rd, because if it's Amy Coney Barrett, I think it'll happen after. If it's Barbara Lagoa, I think it'll happen before, because the Hispanic vote would be in play there. So I think we'll kind of know when this, will it happen in the lame duck session, or will it happen during Trump's triumphant re-entrance into Rome, or will it happen because if it's Lagoa, I think they're just saying, all right, we need a little buttressing in the Hispanic community, and we're going to go with her. So I think it'll give us some tip.
Actually, I have a question about that. Do you think people actually care about that? Like, I always hear people say, we need to pick this person because they're from this region or they match this demographic. But do you know normal people who even care about that? Like, I've never heard someone say, I like
There haven't been a lot of Hispanics rise up all that high? And do I think that there's some, in a margin election, do I think there's some small
Yeah.
percentage of the people around the country who wouldn't like to see a Hispanic woman bullied right before they vote?
Right.
Yeah.
Into Florida, a Floridian.
Yeah, it's an impulse buy. It's the last thing
Yeah.
you see before the register. If on September or November 2nd, you see an idiot like Kamala Harris wading into an honest arbiter of the law and talking about what the problem with her is, yeah, do I think there's probably 10,000 to 15,000 to 100,000 people around the country who might go, fuck that. And yeah, I do. But I agree with you, not by and large. I think people listen, healthy people tune all this shit out because it's a complete nightmare right now. How brutal. I loved what Lindsey Graham said because in the past, I think he said things about voting in an election year. And he said, guess what? That's all scrapped after the Kavanaugh thing. That got as rough as it could. They would have pushed him like Lewinsky to suicide if they could have, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I want to clarify. It's pedantic, but 2 years ago, Mitch McConnell said they're not going to vote because you don't confirm someone when the Senate is held by a different party than the presidency. You can disagree with that, but it was a different issue than this year when both the Senate and the presidency are held by the same party. Although I realize that's very nuanced and nobody
Yeah, no, I've
really
heard
cares about it.
will make that qualified thing.
But I absolutely think that the proper response to what happened with Kavanaugh is that you no longer get to pretend like people are operating in good faith on these things. Like that was really ridiculous and horrible what the country had to go through and what this poor man faced. They really tried to destroy his life and his family and his reputation. And it took a lot of work to resist that. So after you go through something like that and all of the unfair antics that were deployed for that, why would you in any way negotiate with people on when to confirm or whether you have the right to do it? So I think Graham and other people were really radicalized by the treatment of Kavanaugh. Like before they thought, oh, they don't like Donald Trump and Donald Trump is kind of icky. So it's okay that they treat him horribly. But when they saw someone like Kavanaugh being treated the same way, it was, you realize, oh, it's not about Trump. It's about these other people and what they think is okay.
And folks, keep in mind, as Mollie said earlier in the interview, the astounding fact that Ruth Gator Ginsburg, who might as well have rode into the hearings with a Che t-shirt on, with 97-3 approval. It was a simpler time of yore when people said, well, he's the president, he gets to pick it, I guess we'll go along unless she comes in and she, full bore, walks in with Trotsky and Lenin at her side. So, but 97-3, that boggles the mind, and it'll show you how they have brought down the curve line way, way, way fast over the interim 30 years. By the way, Trump winding them up the other day, Molly, just made me laugh when he's talking about the 38-year-old woman who's in the bronze medal spot. I forget her name, and he's saying, at 38, well, people have served into their 80s. She could be on. I said, this guy is an exquisite wind-up artist, Trump. He loves to get their goat, and he invariably does.
It is amazing trolling. But it is also true that when they put the list together, and they've started putting the list together in 2016, and they've updated it 3 times, they do check for age. They want people who can get in there and stay on there for a very long time. And so youth is not the problem it might have been in the past.
Yeah, well, I got an embryo with a mortar board from the Learning Annex that we might want to put up, and we can get 80 years out of him. You can follow Mollie on Twitter at MZ Hemingway. By the way, are you a Hemingway?
My husband is distantly related.
Because I go up to catch him a lot, and I must admit, upon occasion, he's my favorite novelist, so I do go over there, and no, it's not so weird. If I did talk with Hemingway from beyond, I'd have to use simple, abrupt, declarative sentences. But I just drive by and think it's so funny my favorite novelist lives down at the end of my street, not permanently in a grave. But it's your hubby who's in there.
I love envisioning a conversation between you two.
When I'd first ask him, was your marriage to your first wife over the moment she met you in Gstaad and said she'd lost the only copy of what then was The Sun Also Rises in a train station? That absolutely boggles my mind. When people say...
hard to get over that.
Molly, can you imagine if you didn't have if your thing crashed in this week's column? I've written jokes that have crashed out, and I've thought, a joke, and I'm obsessed. Honey, I left the novel in Stockholm or Luxembourg. It's crazy. Anyway, that's what I'd ask him, and he'd say, "Well, yeah, of course. Why do you think I ended up doing what I did? It drove me crazy." Mollie Hemingway with us, and the book is Justice on Trial: The Kavanaugh Confirmation and the Future of the Supreme Court. But I would encourage you, anytime you hear that she's on, or at the beginning of the show, they always say Mollie Hemingway. They put the lower third insert. She always makes the most sense. She does it in a convivial manner, and I always appreciate seeing you, Mollie. You're knocking the hell out of the ball over there.
Thank you so much. That's way too kind, but I appreciate it.
All right, kid. How's life? You good? You happy?
Great. Everything's good.
All right. Well, I just got a thing from Trump. I'm on Deep Background with him, and he's nominating you this Saturday. So get ready, Kevin.
My life, I will literally get assassinated.
All right. Bye-bye, Mollie Hemingway.
Take care. Bye.